I spent 5 amazing years at RE/MAX. I started out as a single agent and eventually grew that to be a top performing team in my marketplace. So why did I leave RE/MAX to go start my own real estate company? That and more coming up on this video. Hi, I'm Mikesh, and on this channel, I share proven strategies and tools that I use to grow my real estate business. So in this video, where we're analyzing eXp versus RE/MAX, in this comparison between eXp and RE/MAX, I'm going to talk about what I call the 3 C's. The 3 C's stand for compensation, culture, and career. So let's dive in. Compensation. One of the things that I do appreciate about eXp is how transparent it is. So anybody can go to explore.exprealty.com, click on section 9, and our whole compensation model is laid out. But I'm going to explain it in this video and also provide a link below where you can do your own research. At RE/MAX, it's not going to be quite as transparent. Reason being is RE/MAX is a franchise and each franchise is independently owned and operated. So they're able to adjust their margins and what they charge independently. So a lot of what I'll talk about in this video is going to come from my own personal experience. But generally speaking, RE/MAX works on a 95-5 split, which sounds really cool. And it was one of the main motivational factors for why I went to RE/MAX in the first place, because they were going to let me keep 95% of my commission. Now, what that doesn't take into consideration and what's very integral to the RE/MAX model is their desk fees. So desk fees can range from office to office. Me personally, I was paying $1,200 per month in desk fees. And when I started at RE/MAX, I was on a 95-5 split with no cap, meaning I would pay 95-5, I would pay 5% in perpetuity. It would never change. So I would always be paying that amount. Later on, I was able to get a cap on that of $90,000, but I still had to pay the royalties thereafter. So that was reduced a little bit from 5% down to 3%, but I was still paying royalties. So a little bit more math to go over there, a little bit more to review, and it's also going to involve you speaking with a local RE/MAX in your area to find out what is it that they charge. But generally speaking, 95-5, and you're gonna have some desk fees. Mine were $1,200. At RE/MAX, that's the way it's gonna be. At eXp, it's a little bit different. At eXp, we're on an 80-20 split until you pay in $16,000. So 80-20 split, but we have a $16,000 cap. So if you're a high producer, you're gonna find that to be a much more favorable outcome than a 95-5 with no cap. We also don't have any desk fees. We don't have any royalties because we're not a franchise, we're a brokerage. We do have some transactional fees that we pay on each transaction, like a $25 broker review fee. And then there's some additional fees, whether you're capped or not, but all of that is laid out in detail on explore.exprealty.com. And I encourage you to go there and take a look. The next thing I want to talk about is culture. Now, I believe that the culture at eXp is second to none. And the culture that I would describe it at eXp as collaborative. Whereas the culture at RE/MAX was more competitive. And when I was at RE/MAX, it was all about stats and awards and like who was dominating the office. I remember we had this plaque in the office when you walked in, and it would highlight the buyer agent of the month and the listing agent of the month. And as I grew and scaled my real estate business, I was at the top and I was on that leaderboard every single month, usually for both positions. First I was very proud of that and I was excited and I was glad that the things that I was doing was leading to success and we were growing our team. But what ended up happening is there started to be this weird animosity and resentment between me and the other agents at the office. So much so that my broker in charge would often call me and other agents were complaining. They were like, "Oh, John, you stole that listing." I was like, "I didn't steal it, it expired. They didn't sell it, so I came in to get the job done." I thought I was doing the company a favor, but they were actually looking down upon some of the marketing practices and aggressive things I was doing to grow my real estate brand and my business. Whereas at eXp, it's the complete opposite of that. It's a collaborative environment where we have this concept and this idea that we're all owners in the company that we're helping build. So if you win, I win too because I'm part owner of that company. And I really think that that's something that until you experience it, it's hard to know if you've only been at other real estate companies. Think about this. Imagine you're at a RE/MAX or any brand there for that matter, and you walk into your office and you go down to the door of the #1 producer in your office. Hopefully that's you, but if it's not, somebody else. and you knock on the door and you say, hey, Mr. Top Producer, I'm really wanting to do better at listings. Would you, share your listing presentation with me and let me copy it? Do you think that they're going to say yes to that? I mean, really, do you think that they're going to share that with you? There may be some rare exceptions where that's the case, but that was not the experience that I experienced. And I don't think you're going to find that to be true for you either. I'd like to say that I was willing to help my fellow agents, and most of the time it was for the purpose of sharing, which was bragging rights in front of the company. Oh yeah, I'm doing this and that. And it would be a little bit about what I'm doing, but not like the actual playbook to what I'm doing. At eXp, it's totally different. We actually do share that information, and you'll find that your sponsor, your business partner, and all of those that are vested in your success and wanting to help you will give you everything. And they'll even coach and train you for free, when a lot of times that costs money, or you have to go hire a coach or pay for somebody. So, when I look at, okay, what is actually the community? What is the culture? It's one of competitiveness that I experienced at RE/MAX versus true collaboration at eXp. So that's my second point. And the last point I want to talk about is career. When I was building my business at RE/MAX, I was an agent that was selling homes, and then I eventually, grew to a point where I needed help, and I built a team. And RE/MAX was very friendly for me to build a team. A little bit more cost than what I would experience later on, but it really was a great place for me to do that. And, I just had an opportunity to put my head down and go to work. And, I built a great team. But when I got to a point where I was running my team at RE/MAX, and it was costing me over 6 figures to do so because of our production and how many sales we were doing, I started to scratch my head and say, is this really the best place for me and the best value that I can offer to my team members? And what I realized was, I could take that 6 figures I was giving to RE/MAX, and I could apply it in other areas that would be more beneficial for my growth and for the growth of my team members. And that's why I eventually I left. And what I love about eXp is I feel like it's a home, it's a destination where, whether you're a single agent, whether you're growing a team, or whether you want to grow and scale to multiple pillars of income, you can do all of that at eXp. And the best thing about it is that we can help people have a career path with no glass ceiling. What I mean by that is, when I was running my team at RE/MAX, I had sort of hit that proverbial glass ceiling. There was nowhere else for me to go. And what would happen is, successful agents that were on my team, if they wanted more, or they wanted to become a team leader themselves, there wasn't really a way for us to do that in a way that would make sense. They would leave my team to go start a team of their own. And that happens in many other places too, including independent real estate, where somebody hits a point on your team or at your company, and they want what you have, and they go to do it, and you lose because they leave you. At eXp, we have a career path with no glass ceiling, and agents can come and they can grow. And even if they go, they're going to stay in your organization, and you're going to champion them on and be their biggest cheerleader. And that's one of the things that I love the most, is this collaborative environment we have, where I can help you while you're with me. And if you decide to venture out and go off on your own, because of the revenue sharing model at eXp, I want to help you do that, and I want to help you be successful. And I think that adds a level of, openness and transparency between the leader and the agent that really transcends the normal barriers of real estate, and allows them to grow, and allows the leader to feed into that person, even if it means helping them onto their next step away from them. And I just love that so much about our model. And I think it's one of the things that I'm most proud about being an eXp agent, is that I'm able to share my value and my knowledge and my experience with people without any proverbial glass ceilings, without any limits. I don't have to just help them while they're with me, but I can help them even when they leave. And I don't think any other brokerage, especially RE/MAX, can compete with that offer. In closing, I want to say this. I've heard many, many times, and I've said it many, many times myself since I've been at eXp. This company has changed my life, and I truly mean it. And I know the people that have said it to me mean it as well. And I've seen the life-changing impact it can have. But with my 5 years at RE/MAX, I never once heard or never once said myself, this company has changed my life. And I think the reason is, and the difference is that if we're successful at a brand like RE/MAX, we give the credit to that success to ourselves, because we did the work, we put the time in, we put in the effort, and we got the result. So no matter how successful we are at a brand like RE/MAX, when we give credit to where credit's due, we give that credit back to ourselves. So we don't say, hey, this company changed my life. We might say real estate changed my life. I remember feeling that sentiment when in my 5-year trajectory with RE/MAX, we were doubling every year or more. And I was like, man, real estate is changing my life. But I didn't say RE/MAX was changing my life. And I think the difference is, and why we say that all the time at eXp, is because when we look at the business model that eXp offers, and we look at the value proposition, and we realize that, if we build an organization through revenue share, a lot of what we're getting paid down the road after we build that has very little to do with the effort that we put in. So we don't take the credit because the company's business model provides the value, or at least the vast majority of the value. I've only been with eXp now for 2.5 years, and my organization is approaching 2,000 agents. And when I look at what I'm currently making, 2% of that income comes from the direct result that I've had or the direct people that I've sponsored in the company. The other 98% of value that I receive every single month comes from the business model and what others have been able to do underneath me. And I think that that's an amazing point that needs to be highlighted when we're considering the two options. So if you'd like to learn more about what this looks like, no pressure, no salesy techniques, none of that, just to really look at it and do a side-by-side comparison, and we can analyze, hey, what were your numbers last year at RE/MAX and what would they be had you been at eXp? I'd love to offer that service for you, so feel free to grab a strategy session in the link below in the description, and we can get that done for you. I appreciate you taking the time to listen, and I'm happy to help in any way I can.